In this review, you're going to be hearing the microphone going straight into my Sony a7S III. There's no post-processing of any kind, only makeup gain and a limiter. That way you can hear the raw sound quality going straight into the camera. This current section, as well as the TLDR section in a couple seconds, is not being recorded with the microphone. It is actually being recorded with my Blue Yeti microphone. Tilder! What is this? This is the Feidu FM40. How much does it cost? Approximately $100. It uses the 500 MHz range. It does not have a frequency scan. Approximately 3 hours of battery life. You can actually adjust the mic and receiver's own independent levels. Do I recommend it? If you're a beginning content creator or a narrative filmmaker and don't have a lot to spend, yes. If you do events like weddings, no. Done. Roll that intro. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we're constantly and always still learning. So today we're going to find out whether or not the Feidu FM40, the wireless UHF audio kit, is going to be the right solution for you and your overall filmmaking setup. And I want to thank Gear for sending this out to me so I can do my comparison against the Rode Wireless Go for you today. Now, you are listening to the included lavalier mic going into my Sony a7S III. This is a non-sound treated room. There's literally a wall right here that I can touch. So this is an idea of what it's going to sound like in this very specific setting. Now, coming in at $100, you get pretty much everything you need. Out of the box, you're going to get the transmitter and the receiver, 2 charging cables, which is actually quite awesome, a lavalier mic, audio cables, whether you're going into a smartphone or a DSLR, a little carrying pouch, and Gear has their own little hard case pouch that came with it, so you can actually have everything put in very nicely. Now, one interesting thing is that this antenna over here, you can actually pull it out and therefore extend it and get much better range if you need to. The only problem is this doesn't feel like a very, very loose type of feel. It's a little stiff around here. So if you start bending it all about or just from normal wear and tear, I am assuming that the antennas will eventually fail. In terms of the screen, it's pretty self-explanatory. The receiver has the most amount of information. It has its own battery life, but it also tells you what the transmitter's battery life is, which is awesome. And of course, you do have your little sound bars here, which is quite responsive, as you can see. And then each one has their own volume. So this is to see how loud you want it to go into your camera. And then over here is going to determine how sensitive your microphone is, which is awesome that they give you the ability to do both, as we don't really see this very often. In terms of the frequencies, there is no frequency scan feature, and sometimes if you don't want to look at just these numbers over here, then what you can do is press the plus and minus button down together, and then it'll switch over to channel 04. So if you do that to both sides, it makes it a lot easier for you to just choose which signal you want instead of trying to match up 3 different numbers. And without further ado, let's get to the sound quality tests. Again, this is going to be done in my makeshift soundproof box so that I can give you the cleanest audio possible. And because this is a wireless audio system, I will be doing my negative 12 dB calibration to ensure I am taxing all the transmitter preamps the same way so you can hear how they sound in the same situations. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. You done messed up, Aaron! You done messed up, Aaron! What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. You done messed up, Aaron! You done messed up, Aaron! What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker. You done messed up, Aaron! 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 After listening to the sound quality tests and analyzing them, it does seem that the Feidu is basically picking up much more bass in my voice compared to the Rode Wireless Go, which is not a bad thing at all. I'd rather it be able to pick up that bass instead of me having to EQ it later so that I can push it down if it's too much. And it really just depends on your voice. Now, the reason I didn't compare included lavalier mic with the Rode Wireless Go is because I simply do not have the official Rode Wireless Go lavalier mic to do that comparison. But generally speaking, I believe that the Rode Wireless Go Lav is simply going to sound just like the Rode Wireless Go's built-in microphone, except it's in a Lav form. So that's going to kind of give you an idea of what you could expect if you decide to use Rode's official Lav. Now, while the noise floor is louder than the Rode Wireless Go, having that kind of hiss sound, in theory, you could actually bring this down by making sure the mic level and the receiver level is not maxed out. Now, I did do a set of tests like this, however, the noise floor was even worse, but it wasn't because of the Feidu FM40. It was actually because I had to turn my Tascam preamp up to 28, and at that point in time, the Tascam is noisy. So, if you have a much better audio recorder, then you're probably going to be much better off turning down the receiver to like +16 instead of +19, then having your mic down to +7, somewhere around there. Because if your recorder has really awesome preamps, then that noise is probably going to just keep going down. So unfortunately, because I have a pretty cheap, well, not cheap, it was a pretty good recorder, but you are hearing the recorder's noise floor and not the Feidu's noise floor itself. Okay guys, so we're going to be testing this. I have the lavalier mic on and the antenna is collapsed inside, so we're going to see how well the distance goes. I'm going to have it in my back pocket over here. So here we go. Complete line of sight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.5. So this is approximately 50 feet away. I'm going to turn around and block line of sight. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to come back around. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.5. So this is approximately 100 feet away. Turn around, blocking line of sight. 3, and we'll continue. And 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so we have the receiver having its antennas popped out, but the transmitter, we're going to keep it low just to see what kind of distance we get. So here we go. And going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.5. So here is 50 feet away. I'm going to block line of sight here. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, and we're going to move right back. Going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.5. So here we are at 100 feet away. I'm going to turn around here, blocking line of sight, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, and we will continue. Going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay guys, so now I have the receiver. It's got its antennas flared out, and then I also have the antenna over here flared out. So we'll continue this test one more time and see what happens with this configuration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So this is 50 feet away as I turn around, blocking line of sight, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, and we'll continue. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.5. So here we are at 100 feet away as I turn around here, blocking line of sight, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, and we will continue. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.5. So here we are at 150 feet away as I turn around here, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, and we'll continue. Going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.5. So here we are at 200 feet away as I turn around here, blocking line of sight, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, and we will continue. Going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 5.5. So here we are at 250 feet away as I turn around here, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. And the final jump here, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5.5. So here we are at 300 feet away as I turn around, blocking line of sight, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we are with the office test as I make my way out of the office into the adjacent room, and here's what it sounds like. My back is against the wall there, away from the camera. Anyways, let's make our way all the way past the kitchen. Plenty of couple little walls here and there in the way. So I make my way out here and I'm gonna head right outside. So here we are where most of them start crapping out. And here we have a nice brick wall in between. And I'm just gonna make my way a little bit down this way to see what happens. And testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. So what's the bottom line here? Is the Feidu FM40 something you should be thinking about for your overall filmmaking kit? And I have to say yes, especially if you are a beginning filmmaker or a beginning content creator, because for $100 you do get quite a lot, pretty much everything you would need. So at $100 you're going to get basically the transmitters, you're going to get a lav mic if you need it, you're going to get a cable, whether it's going to go into your DSLR or your smartphone, pretty much everything. It also has the really awesome feature that you can actually change the mic's sensitivity and then also change the receiver's output, which is actually something that you don't see a whole lot. Even the Rode Wireless Go doesn't have this. So you have much more fine tuning of how you want the microphone to react. Because if someone does have a very booming voice, you don't want it to max out. You want it to turn down the microphone sensitivity and then make it up at the receiver end so that nothing clips. In terms of a couple things that I would knock against the Feidu FM40 is the antenna design. While it is very cool, the wire inside is very, very thin, probably that of a twisty tie. So as you keep using it and moving it and bending it around, I can only assume that it will fray eventually. The second thing is the fact that the battery life is only at 3 hours. If it was anywhere close to 5 or 6 hours like the Rode Wireless Go, then this thing will definitely be punching very hard for its $100 budget. But at 3 hours, if you're going to be doing a narrative film or if you're doing some long form events, this is not going to be enough unless you buy multiple unless you buy more than one so that you can swap it out as the other one's charging, but nobody necessarily wants to do that. But I don't necessarily think that this is going to be a bad thing, especially if you are a beginning content creator and you're working from home. Whether you are doing a cooking show, maybe you're doing a workshop, kind of DIY teaching people what to do in your garage, a 3-hour battery life is probably good enough. You can film for maybe about 2 hours, take a break, charge it a little bit and then come back, what have you. Really depends on what you do, but if you're going to be primarily filming at home, then this is not a bad deal. And hey, that is it for this week, everybody. If this video has made all the influence in your purchasing decisions, I would truly appreciate it if you check out my Amazon affiliate links down below. Again, this costs nothing extra to you. It just gives me a little compensation so I can continue making videos like this for you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave it down below. I will get to them as fast as I can. And until then, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.